Hi, good afternoon. I'm here to talk to you today about the real versus the counterfeit. And I'm talking to everyone out there that's listening, but I'm specifically referring or targeting, should I say, the singles out there who are waiting, looking, believing, trusting God for that special someone in their lives, that mate, that one that will help to complement them. And the real versus the counterfeit has to do with that God has for you, and that the enemy tries to devise and set before you to, as it were, trip you up or to deceive you. And in order to recognize, we must, I should say, we first need to know the truth in order to recognize a lie when it comes or when it happens. And it's the same thing with that. That is what God has promised you in your life, or whom God has promised you in your life, is going to be real and authentic. That is, it's going to be someone who is true, bona fide, and who is made in the exact image of that which was intended from the beginning. It's the original or the masterpiece, as opposed to the fake or the counterfeit, which is something that's made in the almost the exact image or a copy of the original, or something that's valuable. If you look up the definition actually in the dictionary of counterfeit, it says that it's something that's made in the exact image of something valuable or important. And we know that our mates are important. That God has for us is something that's of great value, because the two being brought together that God has ordained to be is something the enemy is going to fight with everything that he has, because he knows the power that's going to be in those two being joined together. If one puts 1,000 to flight, two does what? So we know there is going to be a lot of a conflict and a lot of shall I say, there's going to be a lot of animosity and hatred and just a lot of obstacles being put before those two that God wants to join together. And so the enemy is working to try and keep you from meeting that one, keep you from being brought together with the right one that's just right for you. And another scope or another video is going to be on knowing what is the right type of person or mate for you, and knowing that, and then going before the throne of God and believing God for that is what is best and right for you, instead of just, saying, Lord, okay, I want somebody that, looks like this and walks like that and has this and has that. Those are superficial prayers that God is not really going to answer, because when he does give you something, he says there's no good gift he withholds from those who walk uprightly, and only good is God to Israel. That's you and that's me. And so he's going to give us things that are good for us, things that we need, that will help us to fulfill his divine purpose in our lives. And so he's not interested in hearing all of the superficial things that you feel that you want and need in a mate. So just understand that. But having said that, Psalms 37:4 says that if we delight ourselves in him, he will give us the desires of our heart. And studying that word delight, if you really go in a little deeper, you'll find that it means to recklessly abandon yourself, or reckless abandonment. in God's presence. And so delighting yourself in the Lord is nothing more really than just truly just laying aside every weight, every care, every sin, every burden and concern that you would have in your life, and just throwing it all away and saying, God, I'm just here to love you. I'm just here to worship you. I'm just here to give you praise today in whatever way I possibly can. I'm yours. My life is totally yours. I've surrendered everything to you. And in doing that, Psalms 37:4 tells us if we do that, if we delight ourselves in the Lord, that in turn, He gives us the desires of our heart back. And now, we have to understand that those desires, though, again, they're not going to be those things that we felt when we were 20, 25 years old, that, we needed a tall, dark, and handsome man that had, at least $250,000, income each year and all of this and that. No, but God, He's going to give you something that not only will it be something that you need, that's going to help you walk and fulfill the purpose that God has for you in this earth, but it's going to also be something that you truly like and want and even desire in your life, because if you delight yourself in the Lord, if you truly do what that word means, then you and your desires become one with Him and His desires for you. So He's going to give you the desires of your heart, but in turn, they'll be the desires that He has for you as well. And so I just want you to know that and to understand that as a single believer, we don't have to just say, okay, well, God, I have to settle for this or for that. And, because He's got to be saved. He's got to be this and that spiritually. But, He may not have all the other things I may want, but, God knows all about that. He said He knows every hair numbered on your head. So He knows the feelings and the desires and the things that you want and even need more than you know. And so if you trust Him, and if you trust His love for you, then you're going to rest in that and knowing that He's going to give you something that's truly gonna blow you away. Something that's truly going to just cause you to be speechless, really. When He brings that one to you, it's going to be just as Deuteronomy 28 says, it's going to be a blessing that overtakes you. It's going to truly overwhelm you. That is God's nature. That is His nature. Nothing but good is God to Israel. And so I have some other videos on YouTube that you can check out, where I go into a lot more detail and depth regarding a single man or woman that's believing God for their mate. And I cover a lot of different areas and topics, and so it gets pretty detailed. I have a book that's also going to be released real soon within 2016. The book is very prophetic. It's a book that God has been writing for me, through me, for about 10 years. It's a book that is going to go into some depth as far as being single, the whole single experience, and that is what it's called, the single experience, subtitle, Living a Purposeful Single Life. And it's going to discuss ways in which you can prepare yourself not only in the natural for your mate to come, but also spiritually. And we're going to discuss just a lot of different areas and things that singles go through. We're going to discuss a lot of different testimonies and situations that other single couples, relationships, even some marriages have gone through, and how God has stepped into their life and their situations and brought deliverance, brought healing. And so it's gonna be very it's gonna be very enlightening, and it's gonna be a book that you truly will want to get and not miss the opportunity, because I'm going to have revelation in there. As I said, it's very prophetic. It's going to be things that God has spoken. He's not only spoken to me, but there's some things that he has also brought to pass that were given to me prophetically before the fact, concerning relationships and concerning my spouse and my mate. And so please, I will stay in touch with you all to let you know the exact dates and times for when this book comes out, The Single Experience. This is C. Denise. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. God bless you all.